Hello everyone. I'm glad some of you guys are on already. This is kind of a last minute decision to stamp some more live with you today. Hi Rebecca. Hi Lauren. Hi Sandy. Hi Faith. I had a club meeting this week with my customers, my local girls. And one of my girls, Gloria Powers, wanted to know how to color on vellum. She had seen a sample of a card and fell in love with it. So that's what we're going to do tonight. I'm quickly going to show you how to make this card. Now I made two samples already just to show you the difference. On the first one, I colored with Daffodil Delight and Calypso Coral, and this is vellum. It's also embossed with white embossing powder, and this is the one we're going to do tonight, but it's going to be a different color. This one here is Berry Burst and Powder Pink. And if you'll notice the leaves too, I used the Tranquil Tide on this one and Lemon Lime Twist on this one. So this is what I'm going to show you tonight, how to color on vellum, and a little tip about gluing and maybe a few more things. So if you're interested in making this card, I used the thick white, Whisper White cardstock for my card bases. This one is 11 by 4 1/4, scored at 5 1/2. So let me fold that so it's all ready. I'm also using fresh florals for the back of the background layer. This is the same paper, the designer paper. I'm just using the Berry Burst color, and that measures 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. And then my vellum and my Whisper White, because once I'm done this, I don't want to glue this on top of the designer paper, so I actually glue it on white and it makes everything pop. So let me go ahead and glue the designer paper first. Now I am going to be using the heat tool tonight, because we are embossing, so I am going to make a little bit of noise. Hi Gloria, hi Karen, hi Kathleen. I know I missed some of you guys. Hi Kathy. Okay, so this, all I did was glue the designer paper to the front, and then the white is also going to be glued to the front. And again, that's just to make everything that I'm going to do on the vellum pop. So that's just going to be centered, and then we're going to get to work. Okay, so now I'm going to bring in my vellum. Now I decided, because I did a pink rose and a yellow rose, I'm going to do a blue one tonight. I'm going to use Pool Party, Marina Mist, and Wild Wasabi. The first thing I'm going to do is bring in my Embossing Buddy. Hi Sue, hi Regina. Now if you don't have one of these, the main purpose of that is when handling any of the cardstock layers, sometimes you might have greasy fingers, so it takes the greasy fingerprints out and also the static. Now this is a large stamp. I'm going to bring in Versamark ink, ink it upside down because it's so large. And I am going to go off the page a little bit. And then I'm bringing in my white embossing powder. I do keep all my embossing powders in containers, and I usually write down what's inside with the catalog number, just easy to reorder. The reason I like having these in the container is because you can put the cardstock right inside and you won't have a mess. Okay, so there's my flower. It's all white embossed. So now I'm going to turn my heat tool on, so you will hear a little bit of noise until I melt the powder. Once it gets going, it won't be too long. Now with vellum, you want to make sure you keep moving your heat tool so you don't burn the paper. And you can see that it's turning already. If you've never used vellum, this gets really bright white. You can see the difference right there. And that's how you know the vellum is all melted. Hi, Diane. Okay, and I usually just hold it up to the light to make sure it's all nice and shiny, to make sure I get it all. Okay, I'm just going to let that sit just for a minute. Now, I've already gone ahead and stamped my sentiment ahead of time because I'm using Whisper White ink and I wanted to give it time enough to dry. I'm going to bring in my tailored tag punch and we'll punch that out while the embossing is drying. Okay, now what I'm going to do is flip this over to do my coloring, and the proper name for the coloring on vellum is actually stained glass, the stained glass technique. So I'm just going to color. The reason you do this on the back is because markers can smear, believe it or not. And I'll just show you, as you color and you flip it over, you can see that the blue peeks through, just like you would see in a stained glass. And I'll show you how I added highlights. You could go with just one color if you wanted. Okay, so that's my blue. Now I'm going to come in with the Marina Mist and just make a line where I want it to be a little darker. I'm also going to bring the Pool Party back in and I'm going to smudge this where they meet. And this just adds a little bit of highlighting. And you'll see when I flip it over how pretty it is. So as you can see, this colors really easily. You could also use your blends markers if anybody has purchased those yet. The alcohol markers work really well on this. Hi, Julie. Okay, I'm almost done with the highlighting. I don't like for there to be a definite line there. That's why I'm kind of trying to blend the darker line into the Pool Party. I hope you guys can see that. It's really easy. Because it's vellum, it kind of slides here and there. Okay, now I'm going to bring in Wild Wasabi to do the leaves. And I know Gloria is the one that requested this, and she did tell me that she ordered some vellum this week. I know she's anxious to try this out. There's quite a few techniques out there that you can do with vellum. Oh, and just to update you guys from last night's class, it did snow here today. I don't even know how much is out there. Now, look how pretty that is. Isn't that neat? So like I said, it peeks through just like a stained glass. And you'll really see the difference when I add it to the white. Now, a tip that I use, and I learned this from Connie Stewart. Anytime you add glue to the vellum, it will sometimes peek through. So the best way to do that, I just add a dab right here. I bring in a sponge, and I'm actually going to, make sure I get the right side, do this so it spreads it out. And when you add it to the vellum like that, it doesn't show through like it would if you just added a strip of the glue. Let me add a little bit more. Now I don't want to touch where I use the marker, so I'm just going to take the glue and add thin lines where the stems are. Just a little bit in the center. And now I'm ready to glue. Okay, and see how you don't see any glue peeking through, and see how the white really makes that color stand out. It's really neat. Now I'm going to bring in my sentiment. I do need a little bit more glue right there and there, but I can add that later. I had to do that with my other ones too. I just used a Q-tip and went under. So this is going to go right here. And lastly, I'm using the white Perfect Accents. Just going to add a few in the background. And let's see, we'll add one more. And that's it. Look how quick that was. So you can see the different colors of flowers that I did using the different markers. Now, I forgot to mention on this one, for those of you guys that may not have any embossing powders yet, I actually stamped this with the basic black archival ink, and it's on the front, and then I used the heat tool to dry it really well before I handled it, and I was able to flip it over and color on the back. So you can do it with the embossing or with the black or the gray ink. So that's my card for tonight, really quick. Thanks, Gloria, for suggesting this. Anytime you guys have something you'd like me to demonstrate, let me know and I'll do it for you. Thanks so much. See you later.